I want you folks to stay away from parasites. Human parasites. Because they're going to drain you. They're going to take everything that you have. They're going to take your energy. They're going to take your resources. And many of us are unsuspecting of these people, right? And we fall in the trap. They set a trap up and we fall in it. I was talking to someone this morning who's going through some issues with child support. And it's not really a matter of them not being there to pay the child support or not wanting to. It's a matter of the systemic things that have been put on them. And it's creating a mountain of distress that they can't dig out of or climb out of. So, how did they get in that situation? They got in it because they were trusting. And I want you guys to understand that parasites come in all forms, right? They could be men or women, you know, depending on the situation. But in this particular situation, because I'll start with this, because this is where the discussion is stemming from. But, you know, they got into a relationship, and not even really a relationship, but they had a casual encounter with a woman who they found attractive, and the woman was attracted to them, and they had sex, obviously. Now, when you have sex with a person, your intention is not necessarily to start a family. In some cases, that would be the case. If you were talking to your wife or something, or it was somebody that you really had a deep connection and relationship with, then it would make sense. But if you're just club romping and you meet a woman that night, you're just looking to hook up, and she is too. So where do children come into this? Right? Children become pawns in this game. So it's all psychological. You know, narcissistic behaviors can be applied in any fashion. It just depends on who's willing to put the pressure on you and who's going to be the victim. And it's all about that. So it doesn't really matter the circumstance. The behavior dictates the circumstance. So in this situation, this person had a casual fling, right? And the woman turned up pregnant. Now, because he did not know her at all, he talked to her about it. And the logical thing would have been, since I don't even know your middle name, the logical thing would be for us to not do this. But the woman had already intended on doing some things. She already had decided that this was going to be part of her plan to exploit. This person was merely going to be a host, and she was going to suck him dry for whatever, his resources, his time, his energy. But he didn't know that. And how did he fall into that trap? Well, this lecture is going to be very extensive because I'm going to get into all of these things. And it's not just this particular situation, but I'm going to frame this situation because a lot of men out there, like my friend, a lot of these people get into these situations because up here is not fixed. And it leaves them weak and vulnerable in areas that people can penetrate and exploit them. So they're unsuspecting, right? And then they find themselves in a situation where someone is really literally telling them and dictating the terms of their life going forward. Someone is telling them, you're going to be a dad, you're going to do this, or you're going to do that. Whether they have the money or resources or the mental capacity to support such a thing doesn't really matter, because it's about what the narcissist wants. And what they want is what they set out to get. Doesn't matter how many people get stepped on in this process. But you men out there, you get into these situations simply, and I spoke on this in another video, simply because you are hypersexual. Now, a lot of that conditioning comes from your upbringing and how you were raised to view the opposite sex or yourselves, because a lot of your esteem is housed in how much sex you can get from the opposite. And that makes you a man. It doesn't. Because some of the women that you are jumping on are really not worth shit. They don't even look kept up. But you guys will take anything. I have literally witnessed this in my life. I have seen you guys do anything. You know, you will go to any level. Any. For the purpose of getting some sex. You live for that feeling. So you'll take any old thing, any old body. So on some level, you were a ripe candidate for the game to be played on you because you were looking for something yourself. You were willing to say anything, lie, cheat, and steal to get that. And so you honored the game. So when it's done to you, now you're in a situation. So I want you guys to understand that part of the problem is you. You don't set standards for yourselves, right? Because setting a standard for yourself is saying, I'm this. And if I'm gonna do anything with anyone, they're gonna be on my level. You're not gonna use money to try to lure some poor woman to have sex because you're setting yourself up. She has nothing. She's morally bankrupt in some situations, right? She'll do anything. You know? If she were willing to sleep with you for some money, right? Then what else would she do? Would she be willing to lie in court to get some money? See, you guys are hypersexual. I keep saying it. You know? You guys chase after fat, stanky, nasty sex. You see women who clearly are not kept up, who clearly don't take care of themselves, who clearly have, you know, hygiene issues. But it doesn't matter to you because you don't have any good hygiene yourself. So you're accepting something as low as you are. So then you hem and haw and you boo-hoo when you get hauled off the child support court somewhere. When you get put in a situation where you can't afford this, you don't have any of the money, you can't even take care of your goddamn selves, and then someone wants you to fork over $1,000 a month or something. You don't even have that to live in a decent home for yourself. And that's why you cannot put yourself in a situation due to your lack of control of yourselves. See, women who have more money than you, they're not going to get pregnant by just anybody. They're not going to let you get them pregnant. If they so choose to sleep with you, first of all, if you don't qualify, you're not going to even get any sex or get anywhere near them. So let's start with that. They are setting a standard. They know what level of man they want, right? If they're going to start a family, it's not going to be you because you don't have anything. You don't have mental intelligence. You know, other than a nice ripped body or something, what can you offer this woman? So that's what I'm saying. And that goes both ways, really. That goes both ways, because if both of you guys are fucking losers, why are y'all bringing another loser into the world? You know? So she told you that she couldn't have kids, right? And she's in a ripe age. You know, she's 21 years old, 22 years old, and she's telling you that she can't have any children because something happened. Some complication happened in her life when she was, what, 8 years old or something? And so now at 22, she can't have any children. But because you're so hypersexual and you're so driven for that feeling, you don't even hear that. You don't even process how that doesn't make any sense. If you're checking with your mothers or the women who raise you in your lives, they're not going to tell you anything because they're thinking of, they have a similar thought process when it comes to this type of thing that the woman who's going to victimize you has. So they're not going to give you any usable advice, anything that's going to benefit your life, right? I've even seen situations where young men have fathered children or thought they did, only to find out that it was the guy down the road, it was his kid. Only to have his mother or some woman in his life tell him that it makes more sense for him to raise that kid. Instead of her saying, son, you dodged a bullet, you can go on with your life and make the best of your life at this point, because now you have discovered where you erred in life. Instead of them telling him something productive, they're trying to tell him to proceed with the fuckery. And that's where it goes awry. You know? It's just some sex, man. That's all it is. You can go to fucking Vegas and spend some money and get the same exact thing and go home. And I'm just saying that in a practical way. I'm just making a point that it doesn't have the value that you wanted to have. You know that the sex, it doesn't have the value that you think it has. It has value in your mind because it's been implanted. The value has been implanted. Do you all get that? Don't be a victim. Chasing skirts. Or she puts a hole in your condom. Or she takes the condom out of the trash can. Whatever way this goes down, right? The point is, in the end, you're going to be set out to dry. You're going to get taken to the cleaners. No one in this world is going to give a damn about you, right? Or how you were lied to or manipulated. So it's very important from the beginning to always know who you're dealing with. And that goes for any relationship. That goes for just a friend, right? That could be a male. That could be anybody in your life. But make sure you know who you're dealing with, because these people can really harm you. You know? Manipulation tactics. Another one is some of you young women out here. You know, you'll meet these guys, you know, they're all tatted up, tattoos, and, you know, pants hanging off their butts, right? And you're attracted to that. Some of them may be ripped up, you know, they just got out of jail and shit, so, you know, they all swole and everything, and you're attracted to that. Meanwhile, they have nothing in their fucking minds to better their lives and better yours. They have no ambitions. They just got out of jail, so that shows you what level of crime, right, and resistance to positive things that they're on. It shows you. It's right in your face. It's apparent. You know, and so you let this guy get in your head and talk all of this shit, right? You know, you're a pretty girl, and you know you have some self-esteem issues, obviously, and that's why you even with this low level loser. That's why you're even there. But then, you know, you get into a relationship, and then this guy may get you pregnant, or this guy may, what I like to call the real okie doke, turn you out. Now, how does he do that? He may get you on drugs, right? So let's say this guy is on heroin, right? He has a really bad dope habit. And because that monkey is on his back every day, he decides to put it on your back and get you hooked on heroin. So then we see you 10 years later, you're out somewhere on the corner, right? Prostituting yourself out, trying to make a buck so you can support your habit. And the person who got you into this world, who brought you here, they're gone. They may be locked up, they may be dead, or they may just be severely strung out themselves. A mere shadow of the person that you saw when you met them. They weren't anything from the beginning, but they're really nothing now. Right? But you chose this guy. Hypersexual prowess. Right? Chasing a feeling. Women and men get into mistakes with other people. Or that guy could be a stalker, right? Right? He could murder you or something. We've seen these things happen behind his jealous rages. You could not see anything in this person. You did not have the ability or the insight to look into this person and pay attention to what they were actually saying to you or what their actions were actually conveying to you. Because you're stupid. That's why I say it's no hope for you guys. It's really no hope. All of us have been burned on this level. All of us have felt something like this in our lives. And only the smart ones learn and continue and go forward and adjust themselves and never have to deal with this again. I've learned some things as a young man that I hold dear to this day. I don't just settle down with any woman. I'm just not attracted to just any woman just because they're a woman, right? You know, I already told you guys, you can go to Vegas and you can eliminate the stock value of that said thing that I'm talking about. You don't have, it's not even worth what it is. In some cases, like I said, it's really not worth it. Really, the woman is nasty, right? If 100 people have been there, why are you trying to buy the property, right? It's all ransacked and looted, right? And you want it because you don't value yourselves. You don't have a lot of intelligence, so you settle for things. You let people tell you anything just for some sex, just to be able to you know, a warm, wet feeling for a quick minute, a stinky hole. Because a lot of these women that y'all are chasing are stinky holes, right? They don't bathe, so you know they stink. But you like that? You know, it's a hot summer day outside. It's 100 degrees. She's walking around with some thongs, some dirty thongs, right? You're walking around, right, with the same underwear for the last 3 or 4 days. Two losers, two low-life, nasty scumbuckets, right? About to get it on and mix it up, mix the funk up, and create a life that did not ask to be here, and that neither one of you have the ability to take care of, and not even just monetarily. You don't even have the fucking mental scruples to bring that child up and make them the next president or governor or something. You don't have that. So why are you doing that? You're really disservicing them more than anything else by bringing them into this world. You know, it's going to be a uphill battle trying to convince a lot of you men out there to stop leading with the wrong head. Because it sounds like something your mother told you or your dad or something. It sounds like some parental conversation. You're not up for that. But you're dumb. Will you be up for talking to that judge in court? You up for that? Steer clear of those situations. Don't even be in them. Right? If you're someone who's socially awkward as a man and you cannot meet women in the ways that you want, then pay for it. Do something. But don't put yourself in a vulnerable situation where your resource and everything that you have worked for will be taken from you by someone who doesn't even deserve the shit, who doesn't even, you know, who lives their life to take from someone else. Y'all fall right into the trap. And then we look at the girl isn't even worth anything. She's not even beautiful. So why are you doing it? She looks like shit. So you're willing to fuck your whole life up for a piece of shit. So what are you? You know? You men out there who are raising boys, teach your boys the value of $1. Teach them that when they work every day, that their money is hard earned. And that they should not be willing to give it up just to someone or be a victim so someone can take it. Right? Because once child support gets a hold of you, they're not letting go. They don't care. They're the middlemen in this. They don't give a shit about you, the tick, right? The parasite, or the goddamn life that y'all brought into the world. They could care about either one of y'all. We know she doesn't care because she's not even thinking about anything. That's why she's even creating the whole situation. So then years later, when that child is a grown adult and they have resentments and they don't get along with you and they haven't properly established a connection to you as the father, right? And they have some resentments towards the mother for whatever way she led them in life. And we know that it could be a terrible path that they go down, right? But they're looking at, you know, trying to put the pieces together as adults. I know plenty of people like this. They should have never been in this situation, you know? So I want you guys to think about responsibilities. think about how responsible you are for your own selves and what you can do for yourselves. And if you can't, think about how silly it would be to bring a life into the world that would really need you for everything. And you can't even depend on yourself half the time. Think about how silly that is. You know? You put yourselves in these situations simply chasing behind skirts. The things that look good to you that typically don't look good, you know? I keep telling you guys this. Y'all look at people. Sometimes you can look at a person directly and see that they aren't shit. You can just look at how they're put together. They have on dirty clothes. They have this shit all over. They're not working somewhere, and that's why they got dirty. They're just walking around their daily life, not brushing their teeth, not fucking washing their ass every day. Why in the hell are you laying up with these people? That's why I call you guys scumbags, because I look at so many scumbags every day. Now, I'm not going to sit here all morning because I have something to do. I'm not going to sit here all morning and just put you down and lay you out. But you do need to be put down on some level, because you need to understand. You need the fucking shock of your life. If we can get at least 1 million young men to buy into what I'm saying, then we can cut down a lot of the problems. Because, see, this affects us all. Y'all don't understand that economically this is affecting you. Your taxes, if you're working every day, your taxes are going to provide services for these bastard children. Doesn't matter how they got here. Doesn't matter the circumstance. Doesn't matter who their parents were, the parasite or the lowlife that brought them here. Doesn't matter. When it's all said and done, we have a bunch of bastard children who don't have adequate medical care, who don't have adequate education, and a bunch of other things that you guys don't care about. Because, you know, there was a song that I heard somebody say, and then it stuck to me because I realized what it was trying to say. I think it was a Tupac song. It said, "Are we dying to live, or are we living to die?" or something like that. But think about that for a minute. A lot of people are dying to live, meaning that they want to do anything to bring their quality of life up. They want to get tattoos all over their face. They want to goddamn be built. They want to lift weights. They want to goddamn be drug dealers. They want to be rappers, right? They're dying to live, to feel the quality of the glamour and glitz of life that they see that is created for them. Because it's simulated. It's not a real experience, but they think it is. So they're dying to live. They're dying for sex or feeling. Or to be loved or wanted. Women, same thing with you. The attention that you get, you're dying for that, right? But in reality, you're only living to die, because you're going to die one day. And if you live your whole life and nothing productive comes out of your life on any level, nothing worth anything, think about that for a minute. Somebody brought you into this world to do what? To just live and die, to create bullshit, to bring a life into the world that's going to turn around and harm someone else because you didn't put the right kind of things, instill the right kind of characteristics that someone would want to know about life. You know, you're not giving them something. I don't know what I'm saying here, folks. Don't mind me. But I'm just saying that you're not giving them enough sustenance in their mind to sustain them for later on in their years. You know, I love bad behavior, folks. I don't like manipulators and parasites. Doesn't matter what sex they are. Don't like them. If you're lying to me and manipulating me to get something from me that I wasn't on board with from the start, and I got hoodwinked and now I'm suffering, then you're wrong, right? If you're taking my condom out of the trash can and you're inseminating yourself, you're wrong. And if you want to live wrong, then you can go ahead, but there will be a consequence for you one day, all of you. Any of you who are on board with the fuckery. When you get fucked over, that's when we'll really get a laugh. Take heed to what I'm saying, folks. Like, share the videos. I take subscriptions as well. Have a nice day. If you're out here jogging in this beautiful weather and you see something pretty running past you, before you try to hop into bed with that thing, right? Understand it first. Try to get to know it first before you attempt to put yourselves in a vulnerable position in life. Till we talk again, folks, y'all have a good one. Take care.